All right, we're recording. Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 40 of DeltaHalo, the podcast all about competitive Halo and the HCS Pro League. We got MattyIce back this week from from the disabled list, and Cat is here. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Yeah, Matty, you're looking a lot better these days.
It was the pup list. It was physically unable to perform.
The pup. Okay, yeah,
pup list. Yeah. It was rough. It was a rough weekend.
So what happened?
I had food poisoning.
From what?
Risking the sushi.
My power went out. So, all right, story time. We'll start off the podcast, a little story time. So, I'm off on Fridays and wake up looking forward. The U.S. soccer game was on. I was ready to, have a good time, watch the U.S. women's soccer game, blah, 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 hang out. My power goes out like 10:30. And then just doesn't come back on. So I go to Buffalo Wild Wings and sit down and watch the game, have a couple of beers, get some food. Good. Everything's going well. But then I came back home, power's still out. Had a couple more beers because I was bored. So I'm sitting on my porch enjoying the sun. Nice, beautiful day, sitting there and sipping.
I saw some of those snaps. It looked quite nice.
That was great. It was fantastic. It was a good start to my weekend. And at that point, I had enough that I was safe because you should not drink and drive, kids. So, don't have beers and then drive. And I didn't want to drive or walk to McDonald's because McDonald's is gross. So I decided to risk the sushi that was in my fridge that was left over from the night before. I thought it was still good. The beers were still cold coming out of the fridge.
God.
But the sushi that's been sitting there for I guess it was 8 hours by my power was out, was not good. And
God.
I was very ill for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I don't think we heard from you. God. Yeah, so what day was that? Saturday?
So Saturday morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock with the worst abdominal pain ever, and just literally in a ball, laying in the bathroom. Didn't move for 8 hours. I'm not kidding you. Just a mess.
The first time I heard from you since that day was Monday. 2 texts saying that you were going to be a zombie for the podcast, and then that was it for the rest of the day. We were we went on and recorded. We didn't even know if you were still alive, if you had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I was out like a light, so caught up with me.
We were pretty worried. What kind of sushi was it?
Tuna.
Raw?
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
That's sushi, man. Legit sushi. Not that tempura you're going on about.
Tempura.
Tempura.
Can't pronounce it, but it's great. Cooked. I like shrimp.
Speaking of which, I just went and got some sushi this weekend. It was good.
I love sushi. It's great. Just not sitting in a fridge that's not really on for hours.
It was fresh. We're sitting at the sushi bar. We got to watch the chefs chopping it up, slicing and dicing. Oh, it was good.
That's exciting. I feel like Matt's got a weak stomach. That aged sushi, I hear that's where it's at. A little dry aged, let it sit on the counter.
Yeah, I like it room temperature myself.
Room temperature. Just enough to get a little bit of bacteria in there.
It's good.
It's good. I hear it's good for weight loss. You probably lost a few pounds.
I did, actually, yeah. Great.
Good, you gotta get underweight. Anyway, so did you have any chance to play a game in that state, or did you kind of wait it out and then start playing?
No, I did. So Saturday was just yeah, I was going to say, never mind. I was going to swear, but I'll refrain from doing that. But it was a word and then show. Literally and
spraying literally everywhere.
But, yeah, so I did play the game Saturday, but Sunday, still not feeling great. Couldn't eat anything, couldn't keep anything down. So I just, sat here. I saw a guy playing a game called RimWorld for PC on Twitch. Oh, it's kind of cool. I'd heard of it before. It's a one guy, pretty much. He's the one dev guy, made it. I hired a programmer and a designer, I think, or an artist. It's one of the most fun games I've ever played. I played it for 12 hours, over that weekend. It just loses, it's just a time sink. It's really fun to play. It's a survival game, top down, really, kind of crappy graphics and stuff. And
yeah.
Tons of fun, though. I highly recommend it. It's cool as how the stories develop with your characters and kind of get attached to them, and then they something attacks you and it eats its face, and then you got to try to heal it up. I had one guy get shot in the head by some raiders.
Oh, jeez.
So my guy gets shot in the head, so I rescued him. I picked up the other guy, clicked on the rescue, and we brought him into the hospital bed that I had set up, and patched him back up and stuff like that. But he never came out of it because he had a head wound. And
of course, he got shot in the head.
Everything else was fine. It's just his cognitive functioning was like, it said poor. Everything else said good. And, yeah. But like it's like that type of stuff. It's super cool. I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's called RimWorld. I think it was like $20 on Steam. So
nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of new games, I actually played Overcooked this weekend. I was telling you about that, Maddie. My girlfriend Sarah and I actually got into it, and she doesn't play any games, like literally none at all. And that even goes to like Candy Crush, all those things. She doesn't play any games. So I was like, look at this game. It's fun. Like it's cooking. Like we'll play together cooperatively. And if you haven't played it, it's really fun. It's all couch co-op, up to 4 players. And her and I were playing it, and you have to cook like soup together and burgers, and like one person has to be chopping up all the ingredients like lettuce and tomatoes. The other person has to be cooking the meat for the burgers while we're getting more orders in, plating them, sending them out, cleaning the plates. Like it's so much strategy. It's literally so much fun. Like I thought it was going to be boring, but I heard the Kinda Funny guys, Greg and Colin talking about it, and it was really fun. Like I had so much fun playing. We only got through maybe 8 levels or something, but I got her into games, which was sweet. So it was a good weekend.
Can you play that online co-op?
No, you can't.
Oh.
We were looking into that before the show, actually, to check that out, because that would be a super fun one to all play and stream. But
maybe it's something they'll add later. I mean, I think it's a pretty small studio and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, that was fun. And speaking of time sucks, we played a ton of Ark this week, which was awesome.
Time suck. Oh my, dude, you have got to see what we've done to the place since you left.
Oh my god, what have you done?
We pretty much clear cut that whole forest we were near. That's how much wood we used.
Did you build at the base of that mountain there?
Yeah, we did.
Nice.
Best news ever though. We got online. The Bronto is still there, and we got the Bronto.
Oh no way!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Nice.
Only took like 6 hours.
I had a hand in that one.
Yeah, man, that game, like, I was just telling my girlfriend today of how I cannot be playing that game. I can't do it.
It takes too much time.
I was gonna make a point about, we always talk. I've been trying for a couple. It's been about a week now. I've been saying I'm gonna get back into World of Warcraft, and then trying to convince you guys. I never have time, but we can get 8 hours playing Ark. I mean, come on.
Well.
Because Alpaca Tackler plays it.
The thing, I don't really know.
You can get Alpaca Tackler back in a while.
I really don't have a good reason.
That's the goal. You can.
You're great. You get a free character boost to level 100. You don't have to level them up right now.
Anyways.
It's like a person going back to crack. It really is. I can't help myself.
Anyways, I think World of Warcraft has about 4 billion podcasts out there.
I'll just give it a little plug. It's a great game. We've had a lot of fun playing it.
We can't talk about it. I'll just dive back in.
Matt's been feeling the itch. You got like some scratch marks there.
Bad.
You know what? They would give me a free play, maybe a week or something. I'd play, but they never give me anything. I'll call them.
Don't even have to buy the last expansion. That one's rolled into your account already. You just got to get the new one.
Don't even. Yeah. Let's not even go there.
But speaking of new games, we all have to try Titanfall 2, right?
Yeah, I played that a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I did good. I got my first game. I went 19-7.
It's fun.
I mean, yeah, it's fun and all, but
one, right? I mean,
I don't know.
It's kind of Call of Duty-ish.
Yeah, it's
different shooting.
It's Titanfall-ish, and then Call of Duty followed Titanfall with Black Ops 3. And now it's Call of Duty-ish.
Yeah, that's right. Titanfall did make that like first style fast gameplay like Call of Duty. I guess Titanfall actually did that.
Yeah.
Which the original Infinity Ward people.
Yeah.
And then Call of Duty copied it. That's awesome. So terrible.
It's just it's just one of those games that's fun. But I feel like we wouldn't play it that much and it just doesn't make my cut right now. You know, as far as everything goes, like
No,
it just does.
No,
Me either.
Me either. I mean, playing that was entertaining for literally the 30 minutes I played it, but as far as actual shooting goes, it's never gonna hook me, and I'm gonna sound like a super, like, I don't know, Halo fanboy, but it's not my style game. Like, I really do enjoy the time to kill in Halo as opposed to every other shooter that's out there. I mean, yeah, Overwatch is longer, but that's a completely different style game, and I just think Halo has that blend of skill and fun and that time to kill. They just have it down right now, and it's hard to go play other shooters because once you look at somebody, for the most part, you're gonna kill them or get killed, and I don't know, I can't play that way.
Yeah, I would say Titanfall's a little bit better at having more time to kill than Call of Duty, definitely. But between that and Halo, yeah, you're right. I don't want to sound like a fanboy either, but the shooting for Halo is just, when I play Titanfall, I just want to play Halo.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, I don't know, like, I love the feel of the weapons, I'll say that much. They did a good job nailing that, but I think I found myself getting into this rut of customizing my guy, and I just didn't want to do it. I just wanted to play. I think I've become so accustomed to Halos jumping in and playing map weapons rather than customizing your loadouts and everything like that to, like, make your guy so much custom to the way you play that I just don't want to do it anymore. Like, yeah, I want to customize how I look, but I don't care to read descriptions for, you know, whatever all the power-ups and things that you can get. Like, it's just too much for me anymore.
It's true, and then you have mech upgrades. Like, I guess Titanfall is good for players that don't, I mean, a casual shooter, because they can hop in a mech and survive for a while and probably have fun.
Yeah.
That's literally the only positive thing I see about it. I mean, it's a good game. It's just not the best shooter.
That's not my style.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's very Call of Duty. Seems like very Call of Duty-ish to me. Just in the way, I mean, it does feel different. It plays different too, but it has that same type of thing, like you said, with the loadouts and the having more staying power, more depth, like Call of Duty did to keep you around, keep you playing. You know, wanting to level your guy up and your mechs and stuff like that. And I will say the one thing that I don't know if it's a regret is the right word, but remember when we used to play Call of Duty with everyone that we had on our friends list for Xbox? You know, we don't have that with Halo. Halo really segments our friends list as far as a lot of people that we used to game with all the time. We still play things like Rainbow Six, and they'll probably still play Titanfall, or they play Overwatch, you know? Like a lot of the Georgia crew and stuff like that.
I agree. It's more of those people that we know in real life. Like, we're literally the only three people and legit, that we know in real life that play Halo together on our friends list. Yeah, we have other people that we've come to know through this podcast and things like that, and people that hop in our parties that way. But as far as in real life friends, yeah, it has kind of segmented it a bit.
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing because we choose it because we like Halo 5 a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it. I mean, I did have a ton of fun, but I agree. I'm with you.
And I will say the one thing as far as like Halo 5 goes, it does play faster than other Halos, so I don't feel the need necessarily to want to play a Call of Duty or Titanfall. It's like a faster first-person shooter. I feel like Halo plays faster than the previous versions, and I think it works it's like the perfect balance for me.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, I can't definitely, but probably. Maybe Battlefield, the next Call of Duty game is going to have a sweet zombie map pack.
Oh, the worst.
Zombies in Spaceland?
Yeah, I mean, I bought the last Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, that I thought was going to be really good, but I still stopped playing. I played the first two zombie maps, and then I haven't played it. I mean, it was $120 because I bought the regular game, and then I'm like, oh man, I should have bought the pass, and I had to pay the extra bucks, and then I never even downloaded a single DLC. So
hey,
nice work.
Do you know how much you spent on Halo?
60. I know. Should have been free after MCC though.
Good point. But yeah, so we got into some Halo this week. Did you guys play any of the? So I saw they switched out Social Snipers for Super Fiesta, which not met with much happiness here, but. Did you guys play anything else? I know we played a little bit of 4v4 arena. God, I was raging hard this week, though. I'll say that much. I was not playing well.
Dude, I've
got some Slayer in.
Dropped a lot. I've dropped like 300 on average. But then again, I guess I'm playing more Onyx and Champions, too. So 1,800 damage in that level is probably still pretty good.
I mean, me and Kat played some Slayer. We played some Slayer this week, too. All of us together. The map rotations, something really needs to be done about it. It is a disaster, and it's really bad.
Unbearable.
I mean, especially on Slayer, I think. I think I almost never want to play Slayer because the arena is a better mix, and I feel like you get more of the maps that we like to see and the maps that we like more. I mean, I don't know if that's just our preference or what, but I mean, I felt like I just got maps I didn't like over and over again on Slayer. Like
yes. So I saw on the Halo subreddit, somebody put a little chart together. I can't remember how many games they played, but it was, I don't know, 30 games maybe, and the top 3 maps that they got were Molten, Riptide, and Overgrowth. Probably the worst 3 maps in Halo right now.
Well, Overgrowth is fine.
It's fine, but it's still worse than Rig, Plaza, Truth, Regret, Blah, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Why do they do that to themselves?
I don't know.
So, I mean, Bravo replied to that, and he says, yes, we weight the new maps so people have a chance to experience them and play them. And I get that for Molten, but...
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And yeah, it does. When a new map comes out, you want to play it, but that time period that it's weighted for needs to be so much shorter.
Well, see, okay. So I think that competitive ranked Slayer should be the competitive maps that they play in esports and everything.
But that's what
and you should just have a, social Slayer that plays just new maps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had much fun.
You can rotate a new map in the actual ranked playlist. You can rotate them in, but it doesn't have to be heavily weighted on it because there's already a playlist for it.
You know what would be nice? A voting system.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that would be really nice, right? That would help out.
We'll talk a lot more about this later because the Team Arena Fall Preview is out right now, and they switched up a ton of stuff, and there's a lot that really just plays into what we're talking about with Riptide and Overgrowth. So we'll get into that a lot later. To really hop in here, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone on Twitch and everyone that's listening to this podcast now that it's out on iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher and wherever else you listen to it. Thank you so much. Please hit subscribe and give us a rating and review. We absolutely love seeing those ratings, reviews. Give us feedback. Let us know what you think. You can hit us up on Twitter at part_time_elite or give us an email at espawngaming@gmail.com. And as I mentioned, we are live on Twitch right now. We live broadcast our recording every Monday night, usually starting at about 7 o'clock. We start a little bit later today, 7:30. That's all Eastern time. We all go live then. And we'd love for you guys to tune in and get some live questions. Caller on line 1, if you will. So please tune into that every Monday night. We got some guys out there right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah, so I want to roll in a little bit one more time, talk about that Loot Crate. That stuff is now out. They are shipping the legendary crates for Loot Crates. And if you haven't had a chance to snag one, now's your time. LootCrate.com/DeltaHalo. Use the code DeltaHalo, all one word, and you will save 10% off your subscription. Super worth it. They're really cool. We can't wait to dive in, show you guys what's included, and you can have a chance to get one yourself.
Man, 10%?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Gotta be all over it.
You know what that is?
I'd jump on that.
It's a lot of dough.
That's dough. So challenges last week. This was one that we put out to the fan vote. It was the second fan vote, and it was to get 3 stickies in a single match of Slayer or Arena. We got a few responses. Well, a few entries, I'll say. One from Osborne, one from Roach, and one from Nameless School. Shout out to those guys for going hard and getting those points. And considering those were the only 3, and MattyIce wanted to talk about this before the show, before you came in, Kat, about giving these guys an extra bonus point for this week and extending the challenge for another week.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to do it. I couldn't do it. So
Or are we giving
gonna
them?
do it.
Let me think. Are we giving them a bonus point?
I also
And
do want to say,
re-enter.
2.
yeah, I think so. I also want to say Beans did submit an entry as well. So
Beans,
Did we-
thank you, Beans.
Beans is in there. I got 4 actually.
Re-enter or re-continue. Is it a continuation, or do they get to try again?
What do you mean?
Do they get to try to do 3 stickies again for next week?
Yeah, why not?
I like that. I'm in. You don't want to let them, if they did it this week and they don't get to do a weekly challenge next week, that's like penalizing them. Everybody likes the weekly challenge.
You got to get the
Work
challenge
this
every
out.
week. Yeah. Yeah, everyone gets the chance again. So just to recap the scores right now that everyone has a bonus point, we've got Osborne. He's been killing it right now, coming over from Drunken Halo and tuning in. He's got 4 points right now, including that bonus point. He's taken the lead from Sparrow, who's now sitting at 3. He was on vacation this week, so he didn't have a chance to get the points in. We've got Roach coming in at tied in second with 3 points as well. Arrowhead with 2. Nameless Ghoul with 2, getting that bonus point. Beans also getting 2. God, I gotta tally that one up. And then we've got Fisk, Method, Mediocre, and Drunken Halo. All those guys coming in with 1 right now. You still have another week to get that point and get a chance to get a shirt. And now one of you guys have to get it too. Because I'll try. We'll see.
The shirt made of onyx and rubies. It's awesome. And threaded with pure gold.
I mean, my biggest, I mean, we talked about this earlier. My problem is, like, I always, whenever I have a sticky grenade, the only time I ever use it, really, is if I really want to land a grenade on a specific spot and don't want it to bounce, obviously. But then also, like, as like a last-ditch effort, if I know I'm going to die, just chunking it right before I die, So, like, that's...
Classic.
But I mean, it's so hard for me to get out of that mode when I'm actually playing and just like, I'm going to go for the stick first. Instead, I'm usually shooting first and then trying to get the last second stick, You
did just fine doing ground pounds.
Well, it's because I'm a pounder. I'm a Pound Town penetrator.
Hands out one-way tickets all day.
One-way tickets to Pound Town.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so everybody, you got another week to get those 3 stickies. Get out there in Team Arena, Slayer. We had a few entries from Free-For-All, so we got to open it up to that for this week. Free-For-All, this is the only week, so don't try and abuse that privilege. We're giving it to you because we feel like we want to give you the opportunity.
We're in a giving mood.
Yeah, exactly. It only comes around once in a blue moon.
Yep.
All right. So we want to do a little bit of game night update. We did a poll out on Twitter this past week. We were talking about adding a little bit of a spin on game night. So we realized as we were doing the community game night 2 weeks ago that we were doing some competitive games, some fun games, and it was a bit of a split between what people were looking to play. So we were like, all right, you know what? It'd be cool to do competitive games 1 week. The following week, do some fun custom games. The week after that, competitive, and just go back and forth like that. We put the poll out on Twitter, as I said, and the votes have been tallied. The winner is... I don't know if you can hear that, but alternating weeks between competitive and fun is the winner. So we're going to try and get that started this week, I think. If you guys are up to that, we should try and get that going.
I'm in. Let's ride.
I'm in.
Let's ride. Let's ride. What do we want? We want competitive this week or customs? Fun customs this week.
Why don't we pull it up? We'll see what happens.
I'm thinking competitive. I want competitive.
All right. All right.
All right.
He's feeling the competitive juices are flowing in the cat.
It's good.
Yeah, we got to figure out our structure for the competitive part because it's going to be a structure and there's going to be prizes, a date with Sergeant Bobcat.
Oh yes.
Ooh, don't just give that away.
Seafood dinner. Seafood dinner.
Food dinner. And you get to take one of the nice-looking plants behind him home.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. It's your choice. Your choice.
As long as it's legal in your state.
By the way, just gonna do a little sidebar. My mom bought me and my brother Shawners, who I live with, some plants when she came up to visit, and I don't think we've watered them yet.
Jesus, man.
I never forgot about them until now. I look at it like every day.
You get the right plants, it just says to give them ice cubes. 1 or 2 a week.
That's
That's the steady orchid diet. If you want to get an orchid, 3 ice cubes a week.
Look at this guy. No one has flowers.
Heck
No one
yeah.
has water patterns.
That's why those are doing so good over there.
I mean, they look good. They do. They really do.
All right, so guys, we're going to do a competitive game night this week, Wednesday night, kicking off around 7 o'clock Eastern time, about that. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what you want to play, send us a message on Xbox Live, or if you're already friends with us, hop in, and we'll figure out a way to divide up teams, and we'll just run some customs, get a little sweaty maybe, and see how that goes. So that'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to checking that one out and seeing how everybody does on that. So, Bravo put out the weekly update for this week. A lot of cool things are on its way. One of which is live, is going to be the Team Arena Fall preview. We'll talk about that in a second. But the content browser, they finally released some screenshots of what that looks like and what that's going to look like in the UI on Xbox. So I'm so stoked about it. They have really done a nice job porting it over. You have custom screenshots for your map, so it's not just the canvas anymore that you have to look at. You actually get a chance to see, okay, what does this map look like before I download it. So you don't have to download it, go in and find out that it's really not good, and then come out and waste your time and deal with that. So I'm super stoked about that. I think they're finally figuring it out.
Yeah, I think that's a huge upgrade. You don't see that in any kind of game, to check it out before you go.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
Trial Bike, that'd be huge. Or what is it? Trials HD?
Trials,
yeah, it's just Trials, yeah. Something like that, man, because I download so many garbage maps. And, if we ever get Skate 4, they should implement that too.
Yeah, 2025 maybe.
God, I can't wait for Skate 4 if it happens.
Aim for the next Olympics.
They are also going to release they're working on an arena map that looks an awful lot like Attack on Sanctum. They have a lot of the same aesthetic, which I'm stoked about because I think that map is absolutely beautiful, and I think it's just one of those areas that they haven't explored enough from the campaign, from the lore, and I think it's going to play in, hopefully, very, very well into the arena setting. I could see it being, very similar to like a Warlord type map, or what, I can't even remember what it was originally called.
I got nothing for you.
It was Warlord on H2A. I really didn't like the map, but...
Sanctuary?
What's that?
Sanctuary? What's Warlord?
No, I'm not saying the small indoor one with the ruins that has the platform in the middle with the camo on top, shotgun down below.
I think it was Warlock.
Warlock.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
That's one of the best super jumping maps out there.
Oh my gosh. But I feel like it has that very similar aesthetic, and I think they could do something like that.
Well, and I do like it's just much a smaller map than kind of what we're used to seeing in Halo 5. I feel like the Halo 5 maps tend to be bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the more mobility, they tend to do that. So it'll be cool to see what it's like, just like literally like an arena,
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
I mean, after Molten, there's really nowhere to go but up. So
it's kind of like Foundation. That was actually a pretty sizable map, but it was all about cross map shooting. And while I don't know if that's a ton of fun, I think that idea of a smaller scale map could be really interesting.
Or the shot, right? Sorry, Kat.
Well, Foundation had fun setups for like neutral capture the flag. Like that was such a fun game. One flag in the middle. To get space. Like stuff like that. That map definitely played well for different game types. I don't know, Slayer and then Warlock. After H2A, we jumped in there and just got wrecked. I have a bad taste for that map, I think. So after that,
I don't think I ever liked that.
I mean, once I remembered to just get the shotgun and camp the portal,
True.
So
better. But man, we got rolled when we first hopped back on.
Demoralizing.
We were rusty.
Yeah,
I blame the. I think it was all internet connection problems.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always is.
It wasn't actually us. We don't really suck. It was just the internet.
Well, it's always 3-on-4 or 2-on-3. So. never matched a sub.
No,
Man,
not us.
I go into a lot of hate for the servers for that game. We won't even go there.
All right, so they also released a bit of a sneak peek at the Gunfighter Magnum, and I'm curious to get your guys' opinion on this. It looks really, really cool for a rec card for Warzone Firefight. And this is the description for it. So it's a lightweight competition pistol carried by Spartan operators who prefer a no-frills backup firearm. Quick draw magnum with fast reload magazines. Iron sights only, no smart link module is attached. How cool would it be to have that one, if it's in the right situation, ported over to Arena? It's just a completely different feel without smart link, just straight up iron sights.
So what is smart link?
It's when you pull up, when you aim down sights and it has that reticle on your screen.
So it's your reticle.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for our TVs, we'll have a reticle. It just pops up for us, which is sweet. But yeah, that's awesome. I want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Oh, definitely.
Way different.
So I know on kind of topical because we have Super Fiesta now and this too, and I think it's a great point. How cool would it be to see a almost like, I don't know, like a Slayer rec pack playlist where they actually like mess around with implementing some of these weapons, and not like all of them like we see in, you know, like the Team Fiesta or the Super Fiesta where it's like random and there's just things everywhere. But actually like having like they've done it a little bit with the rocket
Spanker.
but actually like yeah but like actually like, you know, why not do that? Why not put the pistol in as a power weapon in the game, and, you know, or something like that? I mean, it'd be a cool way to get some of the legendary rec packs, and like instead of replace the power weapons we see now with something else, we'll see how it plays. Maybe be something that would be discovered to be something that made the game awesome, and we could, I don't know, make a playlist like that, and it'd be fun. It seems easy, right? No?
Yeah, so it's actually a really good point that you bring that up. So we actually got Churg on chat right now bringing up that there is actually they're kind of installing that right now, and this kind of flows into our next topic, talking about Team Arena Fall preview. So they have the silenced SMG on Plaza, and they also are playing out with Song of Peace, which is a rec suppressor. It's a rec suppressor, Promethean suppressor. I can't remember which map that one is on, but they're playing around with different rec weapons now on these on arena maps to see how it works. So I don't know exactly how it'll play out, especially a silenced SMG. I mean, we'll see really how much of an impact that has on the game, but
sure,
it's interesting nonetheless, you know.
Yeah, I'm into it. I don't want to see guns like the one-hit sniper rifle. Not really into that.
No, right.
The binary?
Right.
Well, the
Norfang?
The Nornfang? Oh, God, yeah.
I don't want to see anything like that powerful. But yeah, that'd be cool, going after a SMG that's silenced and then just creeping around, camping.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're on it, right? At least a little bit. But I mean, like, it just seems, I don't know why I never really thought about it before, and I guess they obviously have. But like, they've already done the design for these weapons. Why not keep the arena game as fresh as possible by, you know, trying to implement some of them? And it seems like they're going to do that. So it's props to 343, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if they can get that balance right. Because if those things start wrecking, which I don't think they will, because it's the SMG and it's a suppressor. You know, yeah, they're a modified version of each, but it's not like a amped up scatter shot or something. You know.
Well. And sorry, it's a weapon that's not really like used too often, which is the thing. So you have all these more powerful versions of the original weapons and rec packs and stuff like that. And I mean, I skip over how many guns in arena all the time. Like I just use my pistol and I skip over half of the guns because they don't necessarily seem worth it to me. So make it even, I don't know. I obviously don't want to make them too powerful, but it's cool to see that they're at least, hey, that needs some help. We're going to put a little better one in there.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. So, as I mentioned with the Song of Peace, Churg's coming in here, saving us. He's saying it's coming to the rig on the back rail, and there's also going to be some recon DMRs. So they definitely are playing around with a lot of different weapons on these maps. So, gosh, yeah, I mean, it's a whole other portion of the sandbox that is going to be.
Sorry, keep going.
It's just going to be crazy. I don't know how it's going to work out. I really love right now the purity of the weapons that are on arena, but these could be really cool ways to just mix it up, at least, you know.
Right.
We've seen them implement it a little bit before with the Halo 2 battle rifle. They did stick that. I mean, the newer maps, you are seeing a little variance in weapons, but it looks like they're kind of mainstreaming it this time, giving us a couple, especially like the suppressor one. I had no idea. That's going to be cool. I honestly don't think I've ever used it.
No, because there's never been any utility for it, you know? Hopefully this does increase the use. It wasn't any good.
Especially because I don't play Warzone. I don't use rec cards.
Well, I mean, the suppressor is in some of the maps, you know? It's just terrible.
Oh, so like, it's that like brute shot looking thing. Like the brute shot rifle kind of thing.
Yeah, the automatic. It's like an automatic rifle of the...
That's what that's called. I like never pick that thing up, man. I just run over it every time.
Right.
I've tried to use it like twice. I'm terrible at it.
Right, and hopefully this increases the use a bit. But there's also a bunch of other ads that they're going through here. Some of them are controversial, we'll say. So the newest ad that they're playing around with in the Team Arena playlist is Assault. So we saw this back when they released it in the DLC, but they never added it to the Pro League because I don't think they had the right mix. They didn't have really the right balance for it or the right maps. So now they're testing it out again, and they're trying it out on Coliseum, Tyrant, and Stasis. Only 3 maps. Really kind of interesting that they're only playing it on 3 maps. I mean, I guess I get it, and it's interesting to see Tyrant in the mix-up for arena maps. I gotta say, that's a new one that we barely ever played before, so that's really cool. But, you know, what are your guys' thoughts about adding Assault in here now and potentially ending up in Season 2?
I mean, I don't know how it'll play out for them. I've never liked Assault in any Halo since we started playing. Really didn't like it. I think that the way they've had it so far, the way Halo 5 plays, I've had a blast before when they were trying it out. I had a freaking great time playing Assault. It was really good, and I don't like that game type normally. I had some very, very close matches that came down to the wire. It played well on the maps that they had it on. I like it a lot. I'm actually excited to see what it's like this time around, to see what tweaks they made and to see if it actually get in, because I never liked it, but I did this time. I don't know. They sold me, so.
I like it. I like Assault, but I'm curious to see on which they would kind of like drown out, capture the flag, or strongholds. Because I mean, they already have a certain amount of games. They can't just add more games to it. I don't want them to take out Slayers because I think those are some of the most epic. But they are the faster games too, you know.
I don't think it's an either. Matches. I mean, I don't think it's an either-or situation. I think it's yes or like, do they add it or do they keep it out, kind of thing. Is there 4 game types, or do they stick with 3?
Man, I think 4 game types would be too many.
Why?
And again, I guess you could have almost a different game type throughout the first part of the series.
Plus, they have votes. You know, they
have the ability to veto.
That's true. Yeah, I think to throw it in there. I would like to see it. Definitely. Like MattyIce said, I didn't really like playing it before it came out and we were trying it. And I mean, Tyrant especially was an awesome map for it. That map is built for Assault, it seems like.
It'll be interesting because it's a completely different play style from it's completely different from all the other ones, because you're not going into a base and taking an objective and returning it to your base. Like, that's a completely different setup and feel, as opposed to assaulting a base and then controlling that base for 5 seconds in order to plant a bomb. That's a completely different feel because you're fighting spawns that entire way. You need to be able to outslay very well and control the map in order to secure that. I think it's an interesting push, especially because you're opening up yourself for, you know, the counter assault, right? Or is it 1 bomb or is it 2 bomb?
It's 1.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's gonna be neutral bomb.
Neutral, okay. So yeah, I mean, it's just a super interesting strategy.
No, but you can get countered in it. If you say you make a push and you do even cap it, like, or whatever you want, blow it up. You know, like, it's, if everyone dies, then you respawn. The respawn timers are long enough, and the bomb's in a good enough position that you can really grab it and run and set up to the point where you can get a cap pretty easy.
Right,
I mean,
right.
It's nice. I don't know. I liked it. I'm for it.
Very nice.
All right.
Nice.
Well, at least that's a positive that comes out of this, because
sure,
I have to say they're experimenting with Riptide and Overgrowth in Team Arena, and I want to just like go off myself. Like I can't handle this.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, no one likes the map, so it's pretty.
Yeah, I'd be all right with Overgrowth.
Do you want Riptide Slayer and Overgrowth Strongholds?
I didn't. I would take over. Yeah, I'd take over. Well, no, I don't think I would take Overgrowth Strongholds.
That's all they're putting it in.
I don't know if I'd like that. I wouldn't mind Overgrowth Slayer, I think, and I do not want to see Riptide at all. I hate it. I've just overplayed it. I don't even know.
It's the worst map. Like you, if it's Riptide Slayer. Oh, I don't know. Did you say Riptide Slayer?
Riptide Slayer
is a joke of just freaking camping. And the back room by beam rifle.
Yeah, so so that's something that they did address in this update. Go ahead.
God,
it's like a wall out or something.
No. So they didn't edit the map. They didn't do any renovations.
Least fun. Like Cat and I played the other day, and I've had some bad times with it in other games as well. It's literally the least fun I've ever had playing anything in Halo.
Well, because the sand dune area and blue room are the only. There's such power positions. Once you get the beam rifle, why go anywhere else? That's the thing. So I think they added plasma caster. I think that's what it is to the far side of the map, and so that you can. So they took out the Hydra and put in caster.
Yeah, because the Hydra sucks.
And they give you the ability to assault that room now with a more powerful weapon.
Still camping the shit out of it, and it's still gross.
Yeah. I
guess I should reserve judgment until I try it out, but just bad.
You know what would fix that map? I think is if
Nuke.
At the end of Long Haul in the blue room, they take out that one wall that people hide behind, and you can like. Not shoot them from down the hallway from stage, like that wall right there in the corner. Just take that crap out, and then they can't just camp behind that wall. You can hide from both angles. Like, you can just hide that.
That's
stupid.
True. That's an interesting point.
I think that's all they need. I don't know why they don't hire me for these great ideas.
We've solved it.
Yep, there you go. 343. Next one is gonna be pretty expensive.
Just delete the file. It'll be good.
Dude. So you can put a statue of Master Chief there. It'd be cool.
Hey, I'd take that. I'd take that.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say a statue of me, but I'm not that crazy. So.
All right. So, what they've also, or actually, it's not what they've also. Speaking of fall season for the Pro League, they finally released all the details today, Monday, of recording this. Finally, I think we've been waiting for so long for this, but a lot of what they have provided us, which they haven't provided in the past, is details for the entire season, for every single event, for prize money, for just everything that we've asked for, everything we talked about on last week's episode. They are actually giving it to us for this season. So just a quick rundown. We can talk about it here in a second, but just a quick rundown. Quick reminder, rosters do lock this Friday, 8/26, so look for some teams to be shuffling around and finalizing their squads, and we'll see how that kind of shakes out. The season will kick off on September 14th and will end on November 10th. We'll have weekly matches. They changed it from Thursday, Friday to Wednesday, Thursday. Thank God. And they kick off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Pretty much every single thing that we are asking for. And finals will be the weekend of December 10th, December 11th at the ESL Studios in Burbank, California. So that's the main thrust of the season itself. There's going to be 2 open lands as well. Another thing that we talked a lot about on past episodes and really what the community has been asking for. There's going to be one October 7th through the 9th. It's Santa Ana, California at the HCS Orange. It's going to be HCS Orange County by Esports Arena in Santa Ana, California. And there's going to be, top 4 open circuit teams qualify for the open circuit finals in Las Vegas out of that event. The HCS Pro League teams invited to the championship bracket. There's $20,000 on the line for the 4v4 tournament and $5,000 on the line for the free-for-all tournament, which is open to open circuit and Pro League players. Don't know how I feel about that, but that's the case. And then, as I mentioned, for the Las Vegas event on November 18th to the 20th, that's being put on by Pro Gaming League, and that is going to consist of the top two open circuit teams that qualify, and the top two open circuit teams. Gosh, sorry. From that, will qualify for the relegation tournament in December. HCS Pro League teams will be invited to the championship bracket. And for this one, it's a $25,000 prize pool for 4v4 and $5,000 for free-for-all. But the drawback to all of this, yes, it is great. They are all happening on the West Coast. Not necessarily the most open, it's not very open to the East Coast players, East Coast and Midwest. I mean, that's a bit of a haul to get out there. I love that they're doing these. First off, I think it's a great first step, but
Sure.
really there's so much potential to do these across the country more so.
And, it kind of does blow a little bit. I mean, for us East Coasters, maybe the East Coast bias stuff going on, but that's not. I can't really fault 343 for anything to do with it. I mean, like you said, it's a good first step, and that happens in every single game that's been out for the last 20 years. It's always West Coast heavy as far as tournaments go and stuff like that. And I think that's just the reality of where the industry is mainly located and stuff like that, and that kind of goes around it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so ironic because you're totally right. I mean, that's where so many of these developers are located, and it's so funny for a game, especially like Halo. So much of the player base is, and so many of the pros come out of the Midwest. I mean, it's really ironic how it works out that way. And yeah, I mean, not one doesn't lead to the other, but it's just funny how there's so much talent in the Midwest, and yes, there is on the West Coast as well. But two events on the West Coast, they could have done one in the West, one in the Midwest, or one in the East. It is what it is. I think they're making some really great steps this season, though.
Baby steps, right?
Yeah. But as far as scheduling for the actual tournament or the actual Pro League goes, I gotta say I'm super pumped about this Wednesday, Thursday action, and not anything on Fridays.
Me too, actually. I have Wednesdays off, so that's perfect. But Thursday I work 13 hours, and I won't be able to watch anything.
And when you get home, you can sit back with a cold beverage and catch the end of it.
Pass out.
Yeah, it runs late. It runs late.
True. I can get out. But the thing is, I work early on Friday.
Right. Well, but that's probably a problem, especially with our schedules and stuff. I just think Friday is you're lots of competition. As we talked about previously in another episode, you're setting yourself up to be competing against a million things, whether it's a social life or whatever else. Especially for people on the East Coast, Midwest, that's time zones are a thing. I think they're starting at 4:30, right? But
yeah, 4:30 West Coast Pacific time.
Yeah. So that's nice, and you don't have to compete with whether we're going to dinner on Friday or whether we're going to sleep because we have to work on Saturday. It starts early enough we can catch most of it. I think it's perfect. You don't compete with that many things. It's Wednesday, Thursday. Give it to me all day. It's great. We called for it, and I think they did exactly what we wanted them to do. It's a smart move, and I'm hoping that they just looked at what kind of they were getting as far as feedback goes from the viewership and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful that it really gives them a bump up.
I'm just nervous on what West Coast. I mean, they'll be fine, but for kids that are in high school, I mean, I guess this is a mature game. You're not supposed to be playing it unless you're 18 or older.
It's starting at 7:30 though. That's
bedtime.
That's 7:50.
I mean, 9 o'clock is bedtime for most high school kids, I feel. So you can get a couple
kids. 9 o'clock's bedtime for my 7-year-old sister.
Man, I don't remember. Maybe we're
back to high school. We went to bed late.
Times change.
Well, I didn't have cable internet, so I probably just went to bed anyway.
Yeah, none of us did. It was like, let's watch TV together as a family and go to sleep.
Oh, I'm going to play RuneScape. Oh, wait, my dad's on the computer, so I can't log on to any other computer. I'm just going to go to sleep.
RuneScape's a bad example, too, for us, for me. I used to wake up at like 5 in the morning on purpose so I could go play when the servers were low population and try to get some good farm on for the older RuneScape. Dude, before school, I used to get a couple hours in.
Oh, that's funny.
It's rated T for teen. See, Halo 2 was rated mature, and I had to pay some dude at Walmart a stranger to go buy it for me because they wouldn't sell it to me. I was only 17.
As a Star Cat slippery slope, next to you is paying some guy to give him crack in the corner.
You don't have to tell me.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. They're asking strangers to do illegal things for him. He didn't know where to stop.
Keep hitting my mic. It's in the way. Gotta get used to this.
It's the cost of looking official.
Sure.
True. Does look pretty good. Right in my face.
I was gonna say you could put it a little to your right. That'd be great. Like maybe a couple, 6 inches right there.
Shut up. I'll black out your video. I have control of all of it.
What were we talking about?
Just getting to the best segment of the show, I think. The one that everyone's been waiting for. This is Cat's Culture Corner, where Cat stops being polite and starts getting real.
Hey guys, welcome to Cat's Cultured Corner here, a place where we can all feel cultured together. This is actually going to be a pretty short one, as I was going to do the e-games of Olympics, some of the finales, but there's only something on Super Smash Brothers. Everything else kind of just fell to the wayside, and I have no stats or winners on anything else but this. And let me tell you what, I'm pretty upset. Hopefully you guys all know why I'm upset, because this should be in the headlines of the New York Times. But I just want to let you all know who has not got to read the news on this, but USA fell to Canada in the final. I am pretty upset about that. I mean, the first Wii game to be played in the Olympics, and we lost it. I mean, Larry Lurr, he had everything that it took. He had the fast thumbs. He was preparing for this probably since the game came out, probably the previous game. But he let us down, and he lost to Ally from Canada. I mean, it was a close match. It was 2-2, and Larry Lurr just couldn't pull it out. And Ally came in the lead. Ally took the lead, and Mexico came in third. Good old Britain's Jay Miller lost to Canada. Britain took fourth. But, lost to Mexico. So naturally, I'm pretty upset of US's downfall. And I really wanted to get into why I think Ally had the upper hand on our player. First and foremost, I want to blame Tim Hortons for all that highly caffeinated coffee. I mean, that's obviously, I don't know if they tested him for Tim Hortons. If you've ever had the little Timmy Hoes, what do they call them? Timbits? Those should be illegal. I mean, they're so good. This kid was probably full of them, just going nuts, going ham on the controllers. I want to blame the cold weather. Keeps him fresh, keeps his nerves going. I've always thought of this. If you lived in the hot places of the world, how does your brain take a break? Man, you're always out there, other than AC. The temperature's like 100 degrees. At least up here in the northern towns, our brain gets a break, and it keeps it cool on ice. It's like cryogenics. If you freeze someone, they can last forever. So if your brain's always heated up, you're burning life right there. You're burning life. And lastly, I want to blame the fact that I really had another one, but I can't remember it. Hockey. I hate it. And by the way, I have a Canadian girlfriend, so I'm allowed to say this stuff. And that's it for Cat's Cultured Corner. I will hopefully maybe get the finals of the rest of the games after this, if they ever come out on the news. But probably not, and I'll probably change it up and do something completely different. But I'm excited, and see you next time.
Thanks for stopping by Cat's Culture Corner. We'll be back next week with more culture and more cat.
Okay, I'll admit I don't hate hockey, but I honestly ran out of my last thing.
We're about to be a me and Loke's podcast with that kind of talk.
It was weak.
Kick me out because I don't like hockey. I do like it. I don't know. I had one more thing, but I think it might have been the altitude.
In Canada?
but then I was thinking, just because they're higher on the map doesn't mean they're higher in the air. So I bailed and said I hated hockey.
That was a good alternate there. That was a good audible.
Plus, if there's any Canadians listening, you certainly pissed them off with that one. So
probably, but no, honestly though, my girlfriend is Canadian, and I'm like in Canada all the time. Canada's awesome. If you ever get the chance to go there, they're so nice. People up there are so nice. I mean, watch out for their driving because they're crazy. If they drive if you've ever been to Ohio, Ohio is like the Canadian state of America. I swear to God, Ohio people are the exact same as you'd find in Toronto.
I don't know about that.
They drive the same, they act the same, they eat the same stuff.
We're pretty Canadian in Buffalo, by the way, as far as the culture.
Yeah, I feel like for the rest of the United States, we're probably pretty Canadian too. We're like 30 minutes away. I'm actually probably 15 minutes away now from the border.
Detroit is right on the line. We're
close
close too.
Yeah, you're about the same too.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about Canada, we do love Canada, so we're not really bashing on it. But they gave us great things like hockey and Tim Hortons. And
I love Tim Hortons, though. I was not lying about Timbits.
And the Tragically Hip as well. It's one of my favorite bands, actually. The lead singer actually had his last concert the other day. We watched it, so I wanted to give the Tragically Hip a shout out. He has terminal brain cancer, so it's kind of like a last hurrah thing. So it was pretty emotional, but it was cool to watch. Like they literally, they streamed it just like CBC did. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Canada rocks.
I saw that. That was sad. I didn't listen to. I never listened to any of their music. Really, never went to a concert or anything. But it was still pretty sad, especially for how Canada turned out, and really all across the U.S. And yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's sad.
Across the world. I mean, they were even in the Caymans. People like my girlfriend's cousins live in the Caymans. They streamed it. Everyone.
That's what counts. When it's in the Cayman Islands, you've made it.
You've made it. That's the world.
All right, so I want to change up this week's weekly intel a little bit. We've talked a lot about the Pro League in our weekly intels, talking about what we want to have them added, what we thought of the past season, everything that we've now found out that they've listened to every podcast and made every change that we've said. So,
well done.
We don't need to harp on that and really beat a dead horse. So we want to change it up a little bit, get a little bit more into the the nitty-gritty of what goes into playing, a competitive game of Halo, and just some little things that we've found that help take your game up a notch without really focusing so much on what you're doing offensively. I think it's really interesting, and you guys should definitely stick around for this. So let's hop into this week's weekly intel.
All right, for today's weekly intel. All right, stop pointing at me, for God's sakes.
Take it away.
Now you have to edit that. Look what you did. All right, I'll clap it in. I forgot I was going to say
just all right, fine. I'll edit this now.
I'm clapping it in. We're going to be official.
Oh, goodness. God.
Welcome to today's weekly intel. Today we are going to talk about... Why are you looking at me? Cat.
Do you want me just to do it?
No, shut up. Go away. Welcome to today's weekly intel. Today we are going to talk about one of the more underrated, but probably the most important aspect of competitive Halo, and something I am terrible at. So I am going to pass it over for Cat, our resident expert at evasive maneuvers.
Matt, that was beautiful.
That was great. You really got to start doing these more often.
That was great. That was really good. So, well, MattyIce said evasive maneuvering. I've been messing around with it pretty intensely for about 2 weeks now, of just evading. I mean, staying alive. You can hear the pro players when they're playing, just stay alive, but you don't know what that really means. Because a life not lost, a life not lost is basically a point not lost, I guess. Nope. There's a better thing I can say.
I love when you quote scripture. Beautiful.
No, but really, though, if you can just stay alive, then that is just as good as trying or killing somebody, because you're not losing your points, so the game is not moving. So evading is huge. It's 50% of the game, attacking and evading. So I wanted to get in a little bit about ways to evade and just tips and tricks that I've found lately that have worked for me. And then we can kind of go around, and anything that has worked for anybody else we can listen to too. One of the main things that I've noticed when evading is to not forget about just little movements. The small movements are very much overlooked in Halo, especially for new players and players just really getting into it. Because when you're getting shot, you just want to get out of there. You're flipping a 180, you're sprinting, you're jumping, you're trying to clamber, you're getting out of there as fast as you can, as far as you can. That's pretty much your goal. You're just running. But you got to remember the little moves, especially with having radar on, a little move can be a very big move.
What do you mean little moves?
Especially like on overgrowth. So say you're there behind a pillar or whatever, and you're getting shot. And what you want to do is run to the other side of the pillar and keep running to the next room. Instead of just stopping on the other side of the pillar or someplace that's closer. You just got to remember, if you can see them, they can see you. So if you can't see them, they can't see you. And you can just maneuver yourself around the middle, like this middle pillar, and just keep yourself away from them. I mean, it's kind of a guessing game at that point. You'll get better at it. But if you're reading their map point on the red dot on the map, you can almost see them move which direction, and you can kind of follow that because the map seems a little delayed when you're going, so you got to keep an eye out for that too.
And to that point, you don't need to stay alive indefinitely right there. As long as you can get your shields to come back, wait a few seconds, get your shields back up, then you can get back in the fight. And really, ultimately, by that time, you're working with teammates that you have callouts to that are able to come assist you, that you've stayed alive long enough that they can help you.
Sure, but every time I do that, I feel like I die from a grenade, though. Like, if I'm behind a pillar trying to, we had a battle, and whether I got outshot or something happened, and I'm trying to recoup a little bit, my shield is just about to go back up, and then I get hit with a grenade almost every time.
Yeah, but then again, you're forgetting the point that you're distracting the guy. You're taking him completely out of the game. Sure. That grenade's probably coming from another character, and that's already taken out of the game just because you're evading and moving around so much, and it's throwing them off. They're losing their focus while your teammates can come in and pick them off, especially if you're communicating well and they know that you're in trouble in that area. Your goal now is to not die and not necessarily to kill somebody either. It's just you just need to keep them occupied.
Sure.
While your teammates can get in there. And people forget while they're playing, they're like, man, if I'm not shooting them or getting kills or getting damaged, then I'm not doing very well. But you can have one player probably not shoot the entire game and evade and distract, and that could change your entire game just by that one guy basically creating such chaos for the other team.
Well, I think that's why
strategy.
That's a lot of the time, and yeah, that's a bit of an extreme. But that's why a lot of the time you look at numbers and they don't tell the whole story, because you look at a guy that is more of playing a support role and they're able to really rack up assists. Maybe their slays aren't as high as some of the other guys on the team, but they aren't dying. They're able to stay alive and play a very pivotal role on the team and help out where they can, rather than being, that gun runner that's getting all the kills. And I think that's a super overlooked and super important piece of a team's puzzle that doesn't get much of the spotlight. It's a lot of the flashy moves with the guys getting the headshots or racking up the 15, 20 kills each game, whatever it may be. But I think that's a role that's really vital to a team's success.
Well, I mean, and also on top of that, it really emphasizes the point about that we've made time and time again about communication being key in Halo. Like if you're gonna get away from someone, stay alive, you do evade as best you can. Like, it's not gonna matter if you're not telling your teammates what's going on if they're not helping you.
Right.
Like we've talked about callouts in the past and how just saying I died on this spot on my X isn't really the communication that works in Halo. Sure, it's better than nothing, but hey, on me in X spot, need help, stay alive, one shot, like those type of things really are what set the good players apart and the good teams apart. Yeah,
a lot of it does come down to small talk too. So you always have an awareness of where your teammates are at and what they're where they're moving, what the overall team strategy is at that second, what you're setting up for, and so you do know where players are at, where they're getting pushed, where spawns are coming from, so that when you do get in a situation like that, you're able to react a little bit more quickly than you would be otherwise.
Sure. So
I mean, I was having problems like when I was really just focusing on evading, when I'm jumping in random games without any friends or any mics or anything like that. But I'd be evading right into the other team, and then I'd look around, there'd be like 3 guys there, because I'm like right in the middle of them. So you do have to, the small talk is huge. Yeah, it's all positioning. You have to make sure that you're evading in the right directions as well, especially if there's a bigger plan to your evasion. So I mean, once you get an idea of the maps and the exit points and the right places to go on a lot of maps, then your evading can be almost combo moves of certain places you're going on the map, once you get the actual rundown and where to go places. I've noticed that boost crouch jump has helped tremendously on opening up new roads for me.
Well, crouch jump all by itself, I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, crouch jump too,
literally within, I mean, it's really funny to talk about because you know how like vital crouch jumping was in Halo 2 because there was no clamber, even Halo 3 and all those games up until Halo 5. But now that there's clamber, you're like, hey, I can jump anywhere, I can clamber up, you know, you don't need that. But it's unbelievable how much of an effect crouch jumping has, especially, God, every map has something that it can help with. Primarily, in my mind, it's Plaza that's sticking out. With down by Tram, you have both of those yellow rails up on pipes, up by the Plaza, is it called Plaza and Trees, up in the top there. You can jump up top there and have a really good overlook of the entire map, and then also down by Loop and Tram, you can hop up on that one as well and get up by Glass. And gosh, being able to do that quickly and so easily has such an impact on your speed and flow from one part of the map to another.
It's true. You're cutting a huge corner there, and then there's a lot of places on maps I've noticed, especially in what's that crap map called? Magma.
Molten.
Sorry.
Molten hot to magma.
Like Molten, like when you're going from the Halo 2 battle rifle spawn, you jump up on the corner place that's open and it's got the explosive barrel. Yep. You try not to get exploded. Then you can jump over the railing to sniper rifle.
Yep.
If you get that the right sprint and jump and crouch, you can actually just jump right over that railing onto the sniper rifle instead of clambering on that rail. And it's such a hot spot. Your clambering usually is what gets you killed. But if you can jump areas like that you normally clamber, that makes a huge impact on attacking and evading in that point, because you can just run away.
Sure.
The small things like that, the better you get at stuff like that, the better you're going to get at staying alive.
All right, so here's my thing. Like, how much of this is a mindset, too? Because this is where I run into trouble. I don't necessarily, I'm not sure it's my inability to evade and stay alive. It's like when I do something, when I crouch shoot and I'm in a battle 1-on-1 or something like that, when I'm trying to clamber on top of things and escape at something like that, I rarely run away and like get my shield back and then kind of go back. And I try sometimes, but more I'm doing like an evasive thing. I'm either boosting or crouching or crouch jumping or jumping in general to try to get an offensive advantage and turn the fight around, essentially. So like does that make sense too? Does that mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're always attacking. You're not trying to stay alive.
So is that even just about always attacking? It's whenever I'm doing something like evasively, like if I'm like, unless I'm getting pop shotted from behind, if I'm 1-on-1 with 1 or 2 people even, like I'm doing something to stay alive to shoot them more instead of potentially just going away to fight another day. You know what I mean?
That's the thing that we're talking about. When you're distracting, when you're getting them there, you got them like half shield. You don't have to finish him. You have 3 other teammates. That's where you're evading and trying to get them to pull out and like get out of position and confused. That's when your teammates come in. See, I think that's where me and you, our biggest downfall is too, because I get in the head like, if it's 1v1, I'm going to go until I die because I think I can kill this guy. And if I don't, then I feel like I suck. And it happens a lot of times that I don't. And then I'm dead, and that guy just regens and goes off killing more people. Instead, I could have gotten shot, could have pulled him out, got some help. We could have taken them down together, or just confused more of their team because they'd be trying to kill me too. I feel like that's what I'm talking about. The underwhelming, like need or the overwhelming need for something like that in a game.
Yeah, don't undervalue the small movements. It's one of the, and I think it's more of a habit. Like, it's just a habit that you need to get into. Like, you need to be able to feel that pressure coming towards you so that you have the ability, you have an out, you have a way that if it does become 2-on-1 or you're losing 1-on-1, that you can be in a position to stay alive and hopefully have a teammate there to support you. It's just, I totally think you're right. It is a mindset rather than always being, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to win this battle even if I die. To more of a, not, I wouldn't want to say conservative, but more of a smart, calculated approach.
Sure. I mean, but so like I'm still bad at it, I guess. Though. Like, I mean, what are like some tips though? Like, what can we do better as far as that goes?
So that's where you go back to the small movements. I mean, you just got to remember how to get away. Like you mentioned earlier, you suck with your boost. But
I don't suck with my boost, like at all. Like,
that's what I heard. Am I just making this up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was using it offensively to try to juke so I can get another shot off, essentially. Like,
so yeah, maybe try using it defensively instead of getting shot off or instead of just getting out of there.
And I think what you're referencing is we were talking about. Like, I use it. I try to get around as fast as I can to put myself into position as fast as I can, and I'll often get myself into a fight when I don't have my boost off cooldown. Huh?
It's into the fight.
Well, I mean, sometimes if I want to get into it, especially if I know like stuff's going down, like I don't save it enough. Like I will sprint, crouch, slide, and then boost to try to get somewhere faster.
Well, I think a lot of it is you're getting somewhere so fast that you don't have anyone there to support you either. You're just you're so far away from everybody.
I don't
I get in the same group though.
So that's not what I'm saying at all, though. It's a matter of like, and kind of when we talked about this too, and with the grenades too. I'm all using it always offensively. So it's boost offensively to get myself into a position, to where I can shoot people, like not out of position, into a position that I want to be into.
Yeah, I get it.
But and then the same thing with grenades too, as far as like. I used my grenades super early. I know when we were talking about this, one of the things Kat mentioned was I don't want to steal your thunder. Using your grenades, being able to basically zone them off of you when you get low and you're trying to evade and stay alive. Using your grenades essentially to zone them off and keep you alive because they're going to eat the grenade if they run into it. Where I throw my grenades almost right away. Almost all the time. So if I pick up more, it's great. But it's like I'm pretty much, whether it's we're calling people out and I'm throwing grenades trying to get a hit marker to see where they are. And I even see pros do this too all the time where they're throwing grenades like crazy. Like it's just they're gone right away. Boom, boom, boom. But then I don't have that when I need it in a defensive situation. So, I don't know what's my issue. And I think a lot of people have this problem too. It's just too offensive all the time.
Yeah. It's definitely hard to keep I almost use grenades defensively when I have them. I agree. When I get them, you see pros do it too. They're throwing grenades all the time because they're calling out and you're constantly attacking with grenades, but you can use them mine grenades, evading, are huge. You can shut off entire doorways.
Yeah, those scatter grenades are so vital for just closing off doorways.
They're a good grenade.
God, it's a perfect example though for like what my issue is. And if other people, if you're listening to this, if you're the same way I am, like I think scatter grenade, that's almost like an instant kill grenade if I'm close to someone.
The thing is, like how often do you get those kills?
But frequently I get the kills.
I don't know.
It's like if I'm super close to someone, I'm throwing it and they're dead, or they give one shot maybe.
They're my favorite when I know I'm gonna die and I have a mine grenade because I'm gonna kill the guy and right in his face.
Right. And I honestly, like without even thinking about doing it, if I have a scatter grenade, is that what it's called? I don't even know why I'm.
I think it's called like so many different things. That's what
sure, whatever it is. You know what the hell I'm talking about? The orange things. And like if I have that and I see it's there, what are you doing that for?
None of us can remember the name of this grenade.
Well, I'm
Splinter, Mine, Pulse.
Splinter?
What do you want to
I'm in the middle of a thought. So like I will literally like without even thinking about it, play more aggressive because of the fact that I know that at the very least I pretty much have a kill if I'm gonna die. Almost like I can put myself in a situation where I can be more aggressive because I know I can throw that and then get a kill with it still. Like that's it's amazing how offensive I am in my thinking, just unknowing it, and how much it hurts me for this topic that we're talking about. I think it hurts us two in general, and I don't really think about it. So I don't know if other people do this too, or if it's just me, or but it does hurt us, absolutely. If I'm dead, and even if I take someone with me, it doesn't help us if I'm dead, right?
Right, where you could just be disorganizing them and evading instead of dying.
Well, and then I don't evade because I think I can shoot all the whole time, and then I just try to, when I do evade, I run into things too, because I don't know if map presence. I think that's another underrated thing, is knowing exactly where the little things on the map are. So you're talking about little movements, little things on the map that you can run into and can stop your movement can be
Bolton, and it's huge for that. But I've gotten, I mean, that's going to come with just playing a lot. The more you play, the better you're going to be at that. Because now I feel like at any point in the map, I can probably blast backwards. Like if I'm in overgrown, I could boost back right out of the window, like at almost any point in any of the hallways, because I have the awareness of that. I didn't even think about it. Obviously map awareness is going to be your biggest help in evading. I had somebody on overgrowth where the carbine spawns, okay? Probably best example of evading. I tried to get the clip. I don't know what happened to it. But the guy came up. So I was below where a car is. A guy was coming up from railgun spawn on overgrowth. It's where the carbine or original shotgun used to spawn. We're both down below. He's shooting me. He gets me almost down. I shoot him once, clamber up. He steps back, and I step back on the top. So he can't see my head. I can't see his head. I regen. And we basically ring around the rosy right there until I reverse him and I killed him.
Ring around the rosy.
Just like the map awareness of that little area, because it's so, I don't know, we always spawn there. It's easy to remember. Made such a huge difference in the small movements I was making. Just getting away from his head so he can't see me made all the difference. I mean, it was like, and it's kind of rare to have a 15-second battle, just 1v1 on a Slayer map, but nobody messed with us, and I ended up coming out on top just because I had a little bit more map awareness and I wasn't afraid to make smaller moves. But I also kept my boost until the end. I didn't burn it in the beginning, so I could make that, well, endish, mid to end of the gunfight's a good time to use your boost, I've noticed, especially even in being aggressive. You don't want to boost in, because then you don't have it. You want to get like 2 headshots boost and try to finish them off, or 2 or 3 headshots boost and finish them off. If you do it in the middle, it makes it so much harder for you to be shot. I've noticed it, because I hate when people I'm playing against have that 3-shot boost to finish. Like, they're on it.
Oh, yeah, completely.
It from going to diving to Onyx. Yeah. You got the mid gun boost, like the mid gunfight boost, is key for. I mean, gosh, it can make or break a gunfight.
I totally agree. So, sidebar, it's a scatter grenade.
Scatter, booyah! Who is right? This guy.
Nice. Did you get that searching it?
Wait,
or did
no.
it come from phones?
I call it scatter grenade to begin with. Splinter.
Oh my god. I don't know.
What is it called now?
What are you clarifying right now?
I looked up. I found so many different answers. Splinter.
All right. So here's my confusion. What do you mean by small movements? I mean, I take it as instead of turning and sprinting away and trying to get away as quickly as possible that way, like moving side to side, like around objects, essentially. I mean, because that's what frustrates me with other people do it to me, whether it's literally ring around a rosy of a freaking pillar or something stupid that annoys the crap out of you. But
that's it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, strafing is a whole different monster. I mean, evading and attacking. You have to have your strafe on. You can't be standing still. You always have to be moving. But it's the small movements that make a difference. Like instead of running through the next room, maybe just run to the closest wall, try to get there. I mean, you're just trying to crouch and regen your life as fast as possible. You don't want to be caught just sprinting out of there and then dying in the next room because you didn't get to regen. Like regen is first priority. If you have life, you can do something. If you're dead, you're just going to get shot in the head and you're going to die. So it's the small movements, like make a lot of tight cornering. You're not going from room to room. Like, gosh, Overgrown is a huge example because there's so many tight places to go around.
Let's pick a better map.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Rig. We'll use Rig.
Rig's a good one.
So there's a lot of layers to that one. I mean, if you're on, let's say, long haul. There's a couple different ways you can go. You can take the long run and try to run out the catwalk, but no matter what, if there's a guy at the end of long haul, he's going to shoot you before you get out there. You can go out to shotgun, but it's a very hot, heated area. Or you can take,
out to sniper?
Yeah, out to sniper. I mean, that's a good long run because you can take out a sniper and drop down, or you can go up. But you want to cut to the fastest points. I mean, if you're up top in long haul, a good way to go is jump over the railing, get down, get around the boxes. Now you can weave through the boxes and the column down below because there's so many things in between you and another player. And now it's a different layer. They're trying to shoot down at you while trying to chase you down. You just got to always think the fastest escape method with the most things you can get around, the most things you can put between you and another player.
And I think,
but you got to be aware of your teammates because if you run down and everyone's spawning at Tower 1 and you're running down to scatter shot, they're probably going to spawn on Carbine or that area, and you're done for.
Yeah, so that's absolutely a big part of it. And I think for Rig as an example, utilizing the underutilized parts of the map as well. Yeah. So, like, underneath camo, like, how often do people go down there? They go down there every once in a while, but it's a good escape route because it does have turns that take you into different directions, and there's different ways to hang out. And also outside on Catwalk, there's little perches that you can jump to before you go into Whitehall or Turbine 2 and is it Engine 2? Gosh. Engine 2, and you can hang out there and get your life back because depending on where you're running to, like you said, Kat, there's going to be either your team or the enemy team spawning on one side of that map, so you're either able to run into safety or into danger, depending on which way you're going.
Yeah, I mean, with great communication makes this a lot easier. So if you're trying to
stuff too.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot easier for actually surviving an evade. But if you're out there playing by yourself, like I do in drop-in games,
just work on it, right?
Just work on evading, like personally, your own area, your own zone, because you probably will die being a drop-in with randoms, but you'll give the randoms chance to get you out of that tight spot. I mean, the more you're evading, like I said, the more you're confusing and taking people's focuses, and you have a lot of other time. I mean, it's big reiteration of just don't be afraid to distract. I mean, unfortunately,
those distraction medals are sweet. I'll take them.
Yeah. You should get a lot more distraction medals. I don't know how they pop up. Sometimes they read, sometimes I feel like they don't.
Or you can evade, escape. Maybe clamber up, say on Rig. Like say you're down by scatter, you could clamber up, get up top, and then get ready for an epic ground pound that you can then record. And put
right.
It's always for the clips.
Yeah.
But if you can get back to where your health is regened, and I mean you're at counterattack phase. Now you're setting up for them, waiting for them, and trying to see them first and out of place. Because people love to chase in Halo. It's your number one instinct. You shoot somebody,
it's natural. Yeah.
After them. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Once you take the shield down, it's like, oh, I almost got him. I gotta kill him.
Yeah, especially for new players. I mean, if you learned how to just not chase and let people chase you and set traps, basically, I mean, you're going to move from silver, gold to platinum and diamond easily. That's huge because, I mean, new players, that's what they do. They just run and chase. They see you, they're going after you, try to kill you.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I agree.
I do that too.
You could get into way more advanced techniques for advanced players, like focusing on. I mean, if you're super good at just being able to remember stuff, amount of shots people take, where they're at in their clip, time for sniper rifles, obviously easiest one, 4 shots. You can count those pretty easily. You can hear them, watch them reload. But especially in like a gun-to-gun battle, like if you can just pay attention to.
That's a lot.
That's actually more. Yeah, that's super advanced techniques. And am I good at that? No, absolutely not. But it can make a difference. If you really want something to work on, that's something you can go out there. I mean, I've been paying a lot more attention to it, not on a defensive evading side, but on an offensive side. Like watching 2 players go at it, one of my teammates. You can watch them get most of the fires in, especially snipers. I mean, if they get 3 shots, you better go out there and attack that sniper if he's by himself. Chances are he's going to miss you with his no-scope.
And I will say, something that we really haven't mentioned yet, and kind of what you did talk about in the beginning without specifically mentioning it, it's kind of like an old school Halo tactic. It really is. It still works. Like turning around and looking at the ground so they can't headshot you as easy. It still is a thing.
Actually, nice. Yeah, that's a good thing to say. I take it for
Watch the pros play; they do it all the time. You know, it's kind of like a desperation move, but it really does work sometimes. I mean, if you get away, like if you're gonna get killed, you know you're gonna get killed, and you do that, you know, like turn your tail and turn your head down and cower, you know, as best you can to try to get away. Maybe you get away 1 out of 10 times, but maybe that's one life that, you know, wins a 50-49 game in Slayer. You know, I mean, you just never know with something like that. And if you're gonna die anyways, why not try it, right?
I think it works more than 1 out of 10 times.
Well,
I think it's
a great thing to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's
take
really
it for granted. It's a normal thing. You turn around, you look down, you run away. It's normal for us from playing Halo 2. I wouldn't even have thought to even mention that because it's so natural to do now. Remember how mad you used to get because I was the Covenant?
Oh, the Covenant
God.
The Covenant were just
You guys,
anyway.
Oh my God, you could never shoot that thing in the back of the head.
This is a bigger overall topic. I'm going to get away from this, but you two cheating bastards in playing when we're playing each other in custom games, whether it's getting in a Banshee or being the Covenant guy all the time, like just
utilizing tools that are available.
Tools of garbage, like it's just gimmicks the whole time. That's all it is.
God,
gross. I forgot about that. You were a little.
All I hear is blah blah blah. I'm a dirty tramp.
Like sidebar? How do we not just ban you from playing the Covenant? I think we eventually did, but
yeah, they're the
you
worst.
did. I ended up giving up because you cried so much.
Oh my! Well, what?
So dang much that I didn't want you to quit Halo forever.
I like it, right?
Man, we should have Halo 2 for game night. MCC works these days, right? Or are they still working on it?
I don't even know.
Who knows? It's so touch and go.
They probably just scrap the whole thing. It doesn't even go online anymore.
All right. Let us know what you guys think about our evasion tactics. That's what works for Cat. That's things that we're thinking about, what we're working on. You know, give us a shot. See what works for you. And, you know, if you have something different that you're finding that works for you, let us know. You know, send us a tweet on Twitter, part_time_elite, or send us something else on email. You're like, man, I found this out, and it works great for me. You know, espawngaming@gmail.com. You can hit us up there and just, you know, rant at us. Let us know what you're thinking.
Also, sorry. Let me know if you're like me and kind of a hopeless cause as far as this topic goes, because I don't want to be alone out there in this. I do try, and I do get better sometimes, but man, getting away, you're making the evasive maneuver to get that last headshot. You never know. It works sometimes.
You could reverse him after his 4 headshots. You could get that five headshots in before he gets you.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, we're no means pros at this game. We're just like you guys. I mean, you get on there and play with us. So a lot of you know we're not the best, but these are things that do help us. And I mean, anything that we find that's helping us, we want you guys to know. So we'll let you know, and we'd love for you guys to do the same. We're all trying to get better here. Maybe one day we'll take on the pros. We'll rise up.
Rise.
Go straight to the top.
Yeah.
That's a little entourage quote for you guys right there.
Straight to the top, Ari.
I mean, we're basically getting prepared for Halo Bowl 2017.
Maybe this winter.
Whatever the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe Winter Bowl.
Yeah, Winter Bowl.
Winter Bowl.
God.
Spoilers. Spoiler alert. No, it's kidding.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We talked about the challenge earlier in this episode, so I guess we don't really have that to talk about, but you guys have any final thoughts on Evasion or the new season of Pro League coming up in September?
I mean, I don't have too much right now. I'm excited for the roster lock. I'm not going to get into that very much until I see exactly what pans out. I mean, still up in the air. I have no idea what's going to happen. Other than that, get out there and get those sticks. I'm going to try real hard for the next couple days to be involved because I could not get it the other day. But I was playing ranked, and I also don't want to lose my... I'm almost on like 1,700. Pretty excited about that.
Should we talk about how ridiculous you are with your Onyx ranking and stuff in the comments about, oh, you guys, like, we're really playing right now.
He's elitist.
Yeah, it'll be totally like just a backhanded like comment about like, you know, I don't want to lose my rank or something like that, or I'm Onyx something.
Oh,
or
you
another.
diamonds, you platinums over there with your shots.
Like seriously,
Man, I
guys,
really
you gotta,
do talk
seriously, guys, you're gonna stay like you like this like because you got Onyx. First of all, I was the first Onyx player out of us.
I got Onyx my first rank too. Everybody did. It was broken.
No, it wasn't.
It was too, wasn't it, Brendan?
I had no idea. I didn't get Onyx.
Brendan, back me up here.
I didn't get Onyx, so I can't say anything.
Ridiculous.
That's why it was broken.
Oh.
That's exactly why. I should have gotten it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm actually, these days I'm feeling like Halo 2 trying to get to the level 50, man. I feel very defensive of my level. I want to get there. I want to get the higher level.
Yeah, but you said, and then we jump on together, and we're literally like equal. Or I was above you just about every game we played last night.
Yeah, I would give you that. I suck.
I guess it's not like we're not too bad. We slackers a little bit as far as it goes, but
it's consistency, MattyIce. It's consistency.
Oh yeah, go. It's all about
sometimes,
going down in a flame. That's why you got to do the offensive, evasive maneuvers.
I give you
Nice way to bring it all back.
Praise the glory.
Bringing it all back together.
I'll take you as a teammate every other day. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's borderline. Once a week.
Oh, it's because I play it every day, and I'm just so, I don't know. My level is just.
He's just
out.
so good these days. Onyx,
I mean, yeah, I didn't want to go there, but next season, champion. Get the right team. I'm just kidding.
Look out. We got the next Rammy here.
No, but honestly, I think you getting a higher level the season before helps big time the next season. Because I really didn't do good in my 10 games, and I still got Onyx, so.
Yeah, you got carried by method.
I did get carried by method back.
Method is in the Twitch chat.
This got me 3 games, I think, at least, that they carried me like hard. So, yeah.
Now he's worried. Now he's worried about his rank. Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's all I got.
I can't handle that anymore.
Let's just shove the show down.
I'm gonna call it on this episode, episode 40. Thanks everybody for tuning in, everyone on Twitch. Thank you again for your comments, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Ryan Litzel.